Good morning from Arundel. I'm using this town as a base to explore the surrounding area because this area around here is where my family comes from, my dad's side of the family. For centuries they've lived in the towns and villages in this area of West Sussex. I've got my Ordnance Survey map here, the 125,000 scale, so that should steer me clear. Well, the earliest mention I've got of my family in this area is about 1250. And my last name is not a common name, it occurs only in Sussex. Since then, of course, people have moved around the country with the name that's spread, but it is a Sussex name. Oh, and there's Arundel Castle behind me. Let's get on with it. Found myself on another one of these very overgrown public footpaths. A lot of spikes. Aha. Style. I like the style of this style. That side is the river Arun. It's A-R-U-N. Hope you can hear me all right with all this wind blowing. I can't do too much about that. I don't have a dead cat. So I'm going to follow the river upstream for a mile or two and see if I can get to a place called South Stoke, and just over the river from that is North Stoke. Little detour here. This is a Wetland Center. And this area here is being maintained as a wetland location. So I guess this gives you some idea of what the landscape looked like near the river many centuries ago, before all the draining and more intensive agriculture took hold. And I keep looking around thinking, does it look familiar to me? Is there some sort of memory that's passed down through the generation? I don't think there is. This is all new landscape to me. I need maps to get around. That was a great idea, unfolding the map out here in the wind. Just arrived in the little settlement of Offham, and I can either keep walking along the river, I think, around to South Stoke, or there's another public footpath which goes up into the hills. I've got a digitised version of the map that nearly blew away on my phone. I've got all the... That's Black Rabbit. I've heard about that. It's a pub. Hey, look at this. Slow children. I've had to switch cameras because this is the one I normally use. This is the DJI Osmo Action, and I've got to do a firmware update because sometimes, unpredictably, it'll lose its rock steady function and also the de-warp function as well. Both of those are now being deactivated on the device and I can't get them going again. The only way to do so is to wipe everything on the camera and then do a factory reset. That means I've lost all my footage from this morning. So I'm now going to use the phone, which I'm holding as my A camera, and this will now be my B camera. Just left Offham and coming through this flat open area here. There's a few little hills around, but nobody here at all. It's... oh, wow. An old chalk quarry. Doesn't look entirely stable either. I've arrived in South Stoke. I've got some ancestors who I believe were buried here. They were. In fact, there's the church there. That's the cord to pull for the bell ringing. I better not. Tempted. really is probably the most plainest church I've yet been in. Now, of course, it would have been originally Catholic and it would have been a riot of colour and decoration, but since the Reformation, a lot of churches were just whitewashed on the inside and all the paintings covered up. There's some decoration up there. Now leaving the church at South Stoke, and I'm going to go over the river to North Stoke. Church over there is redundant, so chances are I won't be able to get into that one. I'm holding the camera here very steady because the rock steady's not working, so hopefully it's a little bit smooth. South Stoke Bridge, built in 2006 to replace the 1863 bridge. This bridge I'm currently bouncing on was built by Gurkhas. It links South Stoke to North Stoke. In World War II, my grandfather, my dad's dad, was a regimental sergeant major in the British Army, and he had under his command at various times Gurkha regiments. A nice little link there, walking over a bridge built by Gurkhas. My grandfather worked with them and fought with them during the Second World War. I'm now in North Stoke, and same thing as South Stoke. Ancestors used to live here. Some were married here and some are buried here. Its dedication is to St Mary. The dedication was lost for many, many years, in fact centuries, and it was only discovered not that long ago, so it was rededicated. Apparently the information was found on a 13th century document. Please close and bar the metal gate to stop birds entering. Look at this. This big thing there. See, I didn't think I'd get into this church because it's no longer a church. It's wow. What is this? This church, I believe, is virtually unaltered. It's pretty much the way it was not long after it was constructed. There's paintings on the walls, decoration. I'll get some close-ups. Oh my God. Just come down from the ridge up there. I'm heading towards Burpham, but I was just looking on the map, and if I keep going straight ahead, I'll go to a place called Peppering High Barn. Many of my family lived in Peppering High Barn, so it'll take a little bit longer, but I think I've got to keep going that way. If I want to go to Burpham, I've got to take this path down here, which looks terribly overgrown. There's a... wow, look at that. I don't even know how you would find your way through this. Nobody walks through that anymore. Yeah, it looks like no one's walked that in years. So I've come to a crossroads now of public footpaths. The one that goes up there, up that hill, should take me to Peppering High Barn. Wow, yeah, this hasn't been cleared in a while. Ooh, spiky things everywhere. It's easier to go up than it is down. Right. I can just see Peppering High Barn up ahead. Great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents. They're listed as farm labourers in the census, or in the censuses. Quite a number of members of the family, the men would get awards for their farming work. There'd be various fetes and carnivals and things, and people would demonstrate their farming abilities, and they often won awards for their work. Incredible that that's where they lived, but it's not like I remember it in any way. It's just a nice big farmhouse and sheds and equipment and things like that. Great views out over the valley, and I can see Arundel Castle in the distance. I'm not really all that far. That's the house, just there. So now I'm going to head off further towards Bertham and see if I can find something to eat. Approaching Bertham. All being well, the pub is open, I get something to eat. Apparently this is a very expensive area. Be on my best behaviour. This again is on the family trail. There's ancestors of mine who've been married in this church. The church itself, it dates from the 11th century. The earliest parts are this wall here. This is the north wall of the nave, and this is 11th century, so either side of the Norman invasion. I've left Bertham Church and heading south. I'm on my way back to Arundel. This area here, just to my left, this open bit of field here, this open ground, was originally a fort. This is a late Saxon fort designed to help repel Viking attacks. The Vikings were coming up the River Arun. A burh. In Old English, burh means a fortified place. And that's where the name Bertham comes from. Arundel Castle in the background. I've almost finished the loop around this entire area of the South Downs. Sorry about the camera being all shaky and that. The Rocksteady just it packed it in, so I'll fix it tonight. There we go, first day done and dusted. Thanks for watching. Stick around, hopefully episode 2 will be up soon. Got a lot more places to see yet. If you like the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you again on my next walk.